morning, everybody. Today, I want to try to explicate a poem by Maya Angelou, which is called When Great Trees Fall. Great trees is a metaphor for a great person. So, when a great person passes away, what are the after effects? What are the memories and after effects that are left in those who were close to them? So, this poem is an elegy. An elegy is a poem in memory of a departed soul. So, Maya Angelou was close to the writer and activist James Baldwin. When he passed away, Maya Angelou felt a profound sense of loss, and she delineates her feelings and her reactions to James Baldwin's passing in this poem. So, we'll read the poem When Great Trees Fall. So, the poet says, When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder. Now, the poem is written in the form of a metaphor. Great trees, as was mentioned, refers to a great person. And here in the first line, it says, When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder. Rocks can be compared to strong, firm people. Even these strong and firm people, they feel the after effects of the passing of the departed soul. They shudder. Rocks on distant hills shudder. They tremble, right? And it continues, lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. So, lion is compared to a brave person who was influenced by the great departed soul. Lions hunker down. Hunker down is they crouch down in tall grasses, unable to react, unable to show any emotion. So, the impact the great tree makes on the ground when it falls affects distant objects, okay? And even elephants who are magnificent, right? They are strong, they are wild, and they are brave. But even these elephants, these people who are strong and brave, lumber after safety. So the great person has given a sense of security to many around him. But even the strong and the magnificent, the brave and the valiant, and even firm and resolute people, they lumber after safety. They do not know what the next step in their life will be. They lumber. Lumber means they walk, like a plump person does. And they lumber after safety. So, next stanza, when great trees fall in forest, small things recoil into silence. Small things are the minuscule people, the small people who are affected by the impact of the tree on the ground. Small people are also made silent, and these small people, they wonder what the next step in their lives could be, who will direct them, who will show them the path, and so their senses, their minds are eroded, they're worn away, and this is caused by fear. It is beyond fear that they feel. So they have a sense of dread of their future. When great souls die, the air around us sometimes becomes light, rare, sterile. So, when the great soul was alive, he inspired many around him. The very air, the people who were inspired breathed the very air. To breathe the very air was a pleasure. It gave them life, the sense of freshness, that they felt just to breathe the air when the Great Soul inspired them and motivated them was a pleasure. But once the person passes away, the air around the affected people, it becomes light, rare and sterile. Rare means it becomes fine. Sterile means that it is without life. So it does not affect um, the people as pleasurably as it used to do. And that is because their own vital parts, their own vital cells, their minds, their emotions, their intellect have all become weakened. So, because of this inward reaction, the passing of the great person leaves a sense of sterility. That is, they feel that life is without pleasure. We breathe, continues the poet briefly. So we breathe. The breathing comes in gasps, right? Whereas before it was deep inhalation and exhalation. Now the air, which is light, rare, fine, and sterile, we breathe in gasps. Our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. So our eyes are still, we are still alive, we still see, but the activity of looking is empty of any pleasure. There is no reaction from within the person who is affected by the passing of the great person. So our eyes see briefly with a hurtful clarity. They register, the eyes register the things around them, the people around them, but really there is no meaning. Our memory, suddenly sharpened, continues the poet, examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, promised walks never taken. And so our memory suddenly sharpened. We remember the kind words of the departed person. We remember how he made us feel good about doing something, about something he inspired us to do. And our memory, suddenly sharpened, remembers all the kind words of the great departed soul. But it is not remembering as such. The word used by the poet to describe this is it gnaws. Gnaws means just as a lion gnaws on a bone, gnaws on a raw bone. Our memory gnaws on the kind words unsaid. They may be said or unsaid. They may be silently communicated. The kindness may have been communicated silently. And our memory also remembers the promised walks which were never taken. The great person had promised the people, that they would take long walks, having long discussions about some subjects, but those walks were never taken, and therefore they are a sad memory of something which was missed. Great souls die, and our reality, bound to them, takes leave of us. So, when the great person dies, our reality means not just external reality, it is also our inward reality, the way we react, the sense of pleasure or the sense of joy or the sense of activity, either of the body or of the mind. Our reality is removed, is affected, and this reality takes leave of us. Our souls, dependent upon their nurture, now shrink, wizened. So our souls, that is the part which animates us, our souls, we were dependent upon their nurture. Nurture is their kindness, the way they affected us through their goodness and kindness. We were dependent upon their nurture. But our very souls, the animating part of us, now shrink and we become wizened. Wizened means we become dry within, without any moisture. And our minds, formed and informed by their radiance, fall away. Our minds were formed, they directed us, do this, do that, and you will see that you're interested in this subject, or you can carry on your own as and when you become independently capable of doing this. They directed us when we were young, and not only did they form our minds, they also informed them. That is, they gave us helpful tips, valuable information with which to carry out our tasks. Our minds, formed and informed by their radiance, fall away. So the minds also become weakened, they fall away. We are not so much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. So we are not so much angry, mad in American English. Maya Angelou was an American. Mad in American English means become angry. So we are not so much angered by the passing away as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. So our minds, ourselves become worthless. We just exist. That is, we just become body, everything, all the reality that was present in us, whether pleasurable or painful, all that takes leave of us, and it is like as though we're living in the ignorance of dark, cold caves. And when great souls die, after a period, peace blooms. But like everything else, this only lasts for a short time. According to one great French thinker, he says, this too shall pass. So when the great souls die, the passing away affects us profoundly, but after a period of time, peace again blossoms or blooms. But it blossoms slowly and always irregularly. It blossoms in bits and pieces, in snatches of peace. So it blossoms or blooms slowly and always irregularly. Spaces fill with this kind of soothing electric vibration. So maybe it is the spirit that is their spirit that is affecting us, but we feel a soothing, a calming electric vibration around us. Our senses restored, never to be the same, whispered to us, they existed, they existed. So our senses restored, our five senses and our minds and our souls are restored, but they'll never be the same. They'll never have the intensity. Our actions and our thoughts will never have the same intensity or the same strength that they had when they were alive. So our senses will be restored, but they're never to be the same. They whisper to us, they existed, they existed. So finally, the memory of the great soul, it still inspires. So we feel we can be and be better, for they existed. So what is the future hold for the affected people? Some of them, or many of them, or all of them feel we can be and be better. So it is effort to become better for the great souls once existed. So this is the poem by Maya Angelou, and it delineates finally the feelings of the poet for the departed soul, James Baldwin. And of course, it has a universal motif, that is, it can be applied to the loss of persons or people or a person who has passed from our life. Thank you.